Hello, dear UPSC and APSC aspirants. Welcome to the News Plus, the daily news analysis of 12th December 2023. The first news we are taking is regarding reservation. Looking in detail into the constitutional provisions of reservation in India, the Article 16 of Indian Constitution, as we have studied in Indian polity, guarantees equality of opportunity in public employment. Hence, to ensure the equality for unprivileged sections of the society, we have a subclause Article 16(4) of the Indian Constitution allows government to make special provisions for the reservation of backward classes of citizens. That backward classes, at present we have made multiple backward classes like scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, and the economically weaker sections. If a community group of people are backward in the opinion of president and they are adequately not representing in any government service or educational institutions. But the controversy regarding how much can be the reservation, the 50% ceiling of the reservation. Supreme Court in multiple judgments has declared that the maximum reserved seat should be up to 50%. In 1963, the Supreme Court, a 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court in Balaji case explained that reservation is an exception or it is a special provision under our constitution. That is why that special provision should not be in large quantity, should be limited into the 50% of the seats. But Supreme Court itself in 1976 has changed that perception towards reservation. Exception. Supreme Court in 1976 mentioned it is not an exception and it is a matter of equality rather than an exception. Still, Supreme Court mentioned, although it is to bring equality, reservation should not exceed 50%. Again, in 1990, Indira Swahini case or the Mandal Commission case, Supreme Court has reaffirmed the 50% limit. But in the judgments of the Supreme Court also, there was certain exceptional circumstances. In certain exceptional circumstances, a state can exceed the limit in exceptional circumstances. Even the Parliament of India has used that exceptional circumstance in the 103rd Amendment Act of Indian Constitution, which provides 10% additional reservation for economically weaker section. Additional reservation means beyond 50%. Then including EWS reservation, presently 60% reservation is there. Then the Bihar government's decision to increase the reservation beyond 50% comes under this exceptional circumstance. Next one, President's action during state emergency open to scrutiny, Supreme Court. Whatever decisions taken by President of India when a state is under the President's rule under Article 366 can be scrutinized by the judiciary. We can understand what is Article 356 and the state emergency, that is also known as President's rule. If a state's constitutional machinery is brought down, the governor of the state can recommend, or without recommendation of the governor of the state, President of India has the power to declare state emergency and dissolve the government of the state under Article 356. Article 356 is based on Section 93 of Government of India Act 1935. It was first declared in the case of the state of Punjab in 1951. The governor of a state can recommend state emergency. Even without recommendation, President of India can declare. Until 1989, it was a common practice. When one party is sitting in the power in the center and opposition party is sitting in the power in the state, removing the state governments or declaring state emergency was a quite common thing. After 1989, we are using in extreme situations the Article 356. Moving to the next topic, foreigners tribunals identified 32,381 persons as foreigners in Assam. We can look into the Foreigners Tribunal. It is a quasi-judicial body. Quasi-judicial body means the half-judicial body. They have been given the task of identifying whether a person is foreigner or an Indian citizen. And especially it functions in Assam for those who have been left out in the NRC and have been marked as the dubious person or doubtful person. According to the Foreigners Act 1946 and Foreigners Tribunal Order of 1964, one person will not be a foreigner, will not be an illegal migrant until and unless the Foreigners Tribunal declares the person. Because only because of a person is left out of NRC, he will not be automatically considered as a foreigner or an illegal migrant. He can move to the Foreigners Tribunal only if the Foreigners Tribunal declares him as illegal migrant, then only he becomes illegal migrant. As per the official website of Assam government, there are 100 foreigners tribunals functioning in Assam. Earlier, before the foreigners tribunals were established, and the institution which existed were illegal migrant determination tribunal. Next news is related to Jammu and Kashmir. Supreme Court upholds the repeal of Jammu and Kashmir special status. In that judgment, we have discussed this topic in the previous multiple news analysis recently. In this judgment, Supreme Court has mentioned regarding the President's power to repeal Article 370. That we can see what is the President's power as per Article 370. Clause 3 of Article 370 empowers that President of India can issue a notification declaring that the Article 370 is inoperative with the concurrence of the state government after taking opinion from the state government. Now here the question was that when President of India declared the revocation of Article 370, the Jammu and Kashmir State Legislative Assembly had already been dissolved. Then when assembly is in dissolution, when there is no state government, whether President of India will have this power or not. Supreme Court has mentioned that the President's power in this regard is independent and continues even after dissolution of the Constituent Assembly. Again, the Supreme Court has mentioned that whatever the Constituent Assembly recommended, that President of India take the concurrence of the state government, is not binding on the president and he could exercise his power independently. That is why, and Supreme Court has finally and upheld the revocation of Article 370 based on three matters. One is the reading of Article 373. Second one, the historical context and the principle of constitutional supremacy in the country. Next and the last news we are discussing is FSB, Financial Stability Board. It is an international organization that is concerned of the financial stability of the international community. They are connecting with the regulators. For example, they will be connecting with the Reserve Bank of India. And if there is anything, they have to recommend for stability of banking system in India. By connecting with the regulating bodies of the member countries or the different countries, and they recommend how to bring stability in the financial system in the world. The headquarters of the FSB is in Basel in Switzerland. It is funded by Bank for International Settlement, BIS. We have already studied in the Indian economy. BIS has also the headquarters in the Basel. And the board includes European Commission, and all major G20 economies are the members of FSB board. Thank you all. And all of you can take the examination in the description below, and you can download the PDF of the news analysis as well in the description. Thank you. We'll meet again tomorrow.